Hey humans! Welcome to Read to Me, Matt Dunn. I'm Matt Dunn, and I'm going to read to you. Frankenstein, Chapter 15, Part 2. We're on a roll. Roll like a wheel. Because the invention of the wheel is like the evolution of man, right? And then the invention of the inanimate object, or the inanimate corpse thing, that's like a new step towards being God, right? I think so. Wheels. I think whoever invented the wheel probably discovered enlightenment and was like, wow, I am God. Look at this wheel. Did you guys invent a wheel? They're like, no, we just ate our own shit. You keep eating your own shit. Part 2, Chapter 15. As the night advanced, a fierce wind arose from the woods and quickly dispersed the clouds that have loitered in the heavens. The blast tore along like a mighty avalanche and produced a kind of insanity in my spirits. It's in there. That burst all bounds of reason and reflection. I lighted the dry branch of a tree and danced with fury around the devoted cottage, my eyes still fixed on the western horizon, the edge of which the moon nearly touched. A part of this orb was at length hid, and I waved my brand. My brand! It sunk, and with a loud scream I fired the straw and heath and bushes which I had collected. The wind fanned the fire, and the cottage was quickly enveloped by the flames, which clung to it and licked it with their forked and destroying tongues. The fire! Creepy, scary stuff. Ooh. As soon as I was convinced that no assistance could save any part of the habitation, I quitted the scene. I was getting the fuck out of there and sought for refuge in the woods. And now, with the world before me, the wind in my hair, the fire behind me, I'm fucking looking around. And now, with the world before me, whither should I bend my step? Where to next, I resolved to fly far from the scene of my misfortunes. But to me, hated and despised, every country must be equally horrible. Assume all you will, assume. At length, the thought of you crossed my mind. And he's like, the thought of you crossed my mind at many lengths. I'm gonna come find you. I'm gonna kill you. I learned from your papers that you were my father, my creator, and to whom could I apply with more fitness than to him who had given me life? Among the lessons that Felix had bestowed upon Safie, geography had not been omitted. I had learned from these the relative situations of the different countries of the earth. You had mentioned Geneva as the name of your native town, and towards this place I resolved to proceed. But how was I to direct myself? I knew that I must travel in a southwesterly direction to reach my destination. But the sun was my only guide. I did not know the name of the towns that I was to pass through, nor could I ask information from a single human being. But I did not despair. From you only could I hope for succor, S-U-C-C-O-R, brand new word. How about that? Although towards you I felt no sentiment but that of hatred. Unfeeling, heartless creator, you had endowed me with perceptions and passions, and then cast me abroad, an object for the scorn and horror of mankind. But on you only had I any claim for pity and redress, and from you I determined to seek that justice which I vainly attempted to gain from any other being that wore the human form. My travels were long, and the sufferings I endured intense. It was late in autumn when I quitted the district where I had so long resided. I traveled only at night, fearful of encountering the visage of a human being. Nature decayed around me, and the sun became heatless. Rain and snow poured around me. Mighty rivers were frozen. The surface of the earth was hard and chill and bare, and I found no shelter. O earth, how often did I imprecate curses on the cause of my being. The mildness of my nature had fled, and all within me was turned to gall and bitterness. The nearer I approached to your habitation, the more deeply did I feel the spirit of revenge enkindled in my heart. Snow fell, and the waters were hardened, but I rested not. A few incidents now and then directed me, and I possessed a map of the country, but I often wandered wide from my path. The agony of my feelings allowed me no respite. No incident occurred from which my rage and misery could not extract their food. Food. Know something about the food. There it is. I would lose my spot again. But a circumstance that happened when I arrived on the confines of Switzerland, when the sun had recovered its warmth and the earth again began to look green, confirmed in an especial manner the bitterness and horrible of my feelings. And the horror of my feelings, not that horrible, but horror. Horror. I generally rested during the day and traveled only when I was secured by night from the view of man. One morning, however, get this, finding that my path lay through a deep wood, I ventured to continue my journey after the sun had risen. I was feeling quite nippy. The day, which was one of the first of spring, cheered even me by the loveliness of its sunshine and the balminess of the air. I felt emotions of gentleness and pleasure that had long appeared dead revive within me. Half surprised by the novelty of these sensations, I allowed myself to be borne away with them, and forgetting my solitude and deformity, dared to be happy. Soft tears again bedewed. What is that word? Bedewed on my cheeks. I'm gonna bedew on my cheeks. And I even raised my humid eyes with thankfulness toward the blessed sun, which bestowed such joy upon me. Ooh, it's amazing what you can do when you get outside, right? Yeah, I'm not having none of that. I continued to wind. I continued to wind among the path of the wood until I came to its boundary, which was skirted by a deep and rapid river into which many of the trees bent their branches, now budding with the fresh spring. Here I paused, not exactly knowing what path to pursue, when I heard the sound of voices that induced me to conceal myself under the shade of a cypress. I was scarcely hid. Right. Get this. I was scarcely hid when a young girl came running toward the spot where I was concealed, laughing as if she ran from someone in sport. She continued her course along the precipitous side of the river, when suddenly her foot slipped and she fell into the rapid stream. I rushed from my hiding place and, with extreme labor from the force of the current, saved her and dragged her to shore. She was senseless, and I endeavored by every means in my power to restore animation. When I was suddenly interrupted by the approach of a rustic who was probably the person from whom she had playfully fled. On seeing me, he darted towards me, and tearing the girl from my arms, hastened toward the deeper parts of the wood. I followed speedily. I hardly knew why, but when the man saw me draw near, he aimed a gun. Holy fucking shit, which he carried at my body and fired. I sunk to the ground, and my injurer, with increased swiftness, escaped into the wood. This was then the reward of my fucking benevolence. I had saved a human being from destruction. And as a recompense, I now writhed under the pain of a wound which shattered the flesh and bone. The feelings of kindness and gentleness which I had entertained but a few moments before gave place to a hellish rage and gnashing of teeth. Inflamed by pain, I vowed eternal hatred and vengeance to all mankind. But the agony of my wound overcame me. My pulses paused, and I fainted. Sleepy time. It's a sleepy time. Well, if you wish for me to keep reading, please check out some more of my videos. Give me a thumbs up. You can subscribe. And you can write some comments down below. And we'll be friends, I promise. Because we already are. Friends. Friend. Hello, friend. Hello.